Breaking news out of the NFL when it comes to Aaron Rodgers testing positive for COVID-19. Our Jason Lockenfor confirming that today. Ruling him out for Sunday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. A big one we were hoping to see between Mahomes and Rodgers there. Packers and Rodgers, well, they've been on a tear since week one. Remember, they lost to the Saints. It's been 7 straight since then. And the numbers for AR-12 have been on the money. 19 touchdowns to 1 interception. The reason why they're that top seed right now in the NFC. But we shall see. By the way, we'll get that first start from Jordan Love against Kansas City on Sunday. Join us now, the guru, Dave Richard. He's been busy today. Your initial reaction here with Rodgers out for Sunday with COVID?
Well, you can't use him, and you can't feel good about Davante Adams, but you can feel good about that run game. Remember what we saw from the Packers offense against Arizona just last week when Aaron Rodgers didn't have anybody at wide receiver other than Randall Cobb. We saw them run the football a lot. We saw A.J. Dillon get involved. Aaron Jones did his thing. I bet that's where the Packers go, and they can win this matchup against Kansas City because of that run game. Jordan Love can take advantage off of that, off play action. He's also a mobile quarterback. We saw him do that at Utah State. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least if this offense was still capable, but just not nearly as explosive as it would be with Aaron Rodgers.
When we take a look at the offensive group, and as you mentioned, they had an opportunity with Davante Adams out on Thursday Night Football to run the ball more, and people joke around and say, oh, well, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers will never be able to do it. They did it. The Dillon aspect of it, had a little bit of fumble 2 games ago. You think they're confident with him here?
They have to be. They really don't have another option here because of Jordan Love, who was okay in the preseason. He had a good completion rate. It was 68% in the preseason, but that's preseason. That's against substandard competition. He's going to obviously see a step up, even if it's Kansas City and even if it's that terrible Kansas City defense. I still can't help but think that they will be a challenge for Jordan Love. A.J. Dillon's going to have to get the ball. He'll get it in the passing game a little bit, but I think they see him as a bruiser. We call him Prince Henry because King Henry is the big burly stud. This guy's like Garrett Henry in that he's a physical running back who can attack at the line of scrimmage. So they're going to have to use him. I think fantasy managers can look at A.J. Dillon as a possible non-PPR flex this week and definitely as a bye-week replacement at running back. And he's a tradable piece right now. Derrick Henry is lost in every single fantasy league. The team that lost Derrick Henry, they had to scramble to try and just get Adrian Peterson off their waiver wire. If they didn't get him and they still need a fit at running back, at least for a week, A.J. Dillon can be that guy. If you've got A.J. Dillon, you should try and sell high on him, get something really good in exchange.
If they do run into a problem with the run game there, do you trust Jordan Love to throw the ball 20, 30 times a game? I know that's not the formula. When you have Aaron Rodgers, but you don't have him, you got Jordan Love. You got to see what he can do against his Kansas City offense.
Well, look, the problem with Jordan Love is that no one's really going to start him in fantasy unless it's a 2-quarterback league as a bye-week replacement. And yeah, if you're desperate for a quarterback, Jordan Love, you're going to go to him because he's got a pulse. He's going to throw those 20 to 30 passes that you talked about, Brandon, and he'll be able to give you something in your fantasy league. But he's not the guy you're going to go and get as a replacement for Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about some of those guys in a second. What it does to Davante Adams, though, is that it lowers his ceiling as a number 2 wide receiver now. You can't look at him and say, surefire number 1 guy, I can count on him for 8 catches and 125 yards and a touchdown. That's done. With Jordan Love under center and with the Packers expected to be much more of a run-heavy team against Kansas City, which kind of makes sense given the matchup, I think you're going to see Davante Adams settle in at maybe 5 or 6 catches, 60 or 70 yards. Maybe he'll be lucky to score. That's a number 2 receiver.
How about lastly here, Dave, any love for Mercedes Lewis with Robert Tonyan out from the last game here? And usually that would be a quarterback safety blanket. But as you mentioned, Jordan Love, the prospects aren't entirely high.
Nope, none whatsoever. Not for Mercedes Lewis, not for Josiah DeGara. These tight ends that are going to replace Robert Tonyan, they might be good to get 1 or 2 catches. You'll be lucky if they score a touchdown. You can find a better tight end off the waiver wire than those guys.
All right, of course, you've been a busy man today.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
If you've got Aaron Rodgers, you need another quarterback this week. Go to your waiver wire, see if you can find Tua, who's got an amazing matchup against Houston. Maybe Tyrod Taylor, if he ends up being activated off of IR, he's getting the Dolphins. He should be great. Derek Carr is a good option. Taysom Hill, if he's cleared out of the concussion protocol, should be good for at least 20 fantasy points. Don't forget about Ryan Tannehill. That's a quarterback that's going to have to throw a little bit more because he's missing Derrick Henry.
All right, we got plenty of injuries and then also a lot of guys on COVID as well. So now those backups are starting to be high when it comes to putting them on that roster.
Being
now.
a
You kind of need them right now.
football manager is a full-time job now, man, just to make sure you've got a team to field. It's crazy.
That's why we got you here to answer all the big questions, as always.
Hopefully we're helping people out.
All right, Dave Richard, as always. Got you on the fantasy football today. The guys will be loaded. Look, news out of New Orleans and Green Bay. Jordan Love, is he worth the pickup? Gabe doesn't think so, but you never know. It's that time of year. Injuries are starting to pile up. You might want to sneak him in at that QB2. Download and give him a follow.